Hollywood is in shock as Lenny Kravitz breaks his silence on Jason Momoa after years of speculation about their close friendship. The musician has finally spoken up, saying, "I can't keep this secret anymore." What he reveals is unexpected, personal, and changes how we see Momoa. Why has Kravitz kept this hidden for so long, and why now? The truth behind their bond is more than just another Hollywood story. It's something far more surprising. Let's dive into the revelation that's leaving everyone stunned. Brotherhood in Hollywood finally speaking up. Lenny Kravitz's revelations on Jason Momoa are shocking. The film industry, it has always looked too wonderful to be true that two guys who are both quite close to Lisa Bonet could have had such an easy connection. For years fans have praised their camaraderie, but there was something far more complicated going on behind the surface. Kravitz has now spoken, and the revelation is more startling than anyone could have predicted. For years many belied their friendship was just an act of maturity, a model of how mixed families might coexist peacefully. The public thought that Kravitz and Momoa had always been friendly after witnessing their informal exchanges, birthday celebrations, and mutual respect. However, that was untrue at first. Kravitz wasn't sure what to make of Momoa, seeing his larger-than-life presence, untamed energy, and undeniable charm. He wondered if they could truly coexist. Ultimately, it wasn't just about getting along, it was about accepting that Momoa had taken on the role Kravitz once held in his ex-wife's life. However, something occurred that altered everything. There was a singular moment Kravitz now acknowledges when he saw Momoa in a manner he had never seen before. It wasn't for the cameras, it wasn't on social media, and it wasn't in public. Just the two of them were together in private when Momoa said something so intimate and surprising that Kravitz was unable to look at him in the same light. This was more than simply a man who had assumed his role in a family. Kravitz had been unprepared for this person's depth, sensitivity, and honesty. The world has mostly known Momoa as the action star, the warrior, and the unrestrained explorer who appears to be bigger than life. Kravitz, however, discovered then that Momoa had a side of himself that the public had never really seen. There was something raw behind the charm and self-assurance, and everything changed between them when Momoa revealed it. In a second, the hesitancy, the inquiries, the silent distance, all of it vanished. That incident forever altered their relationship. Kravitz no longer only viewed Momoa as Lisa Bonet's new boyfriend. After that day, he saw him like a sibling, and in a genuine, unwavering manner, not merely in the informal way that individuals spread the news. His perception of Momoa was based on his true nature as a person, not only as an actor or a partner. Everything changed with that understanding, and their relationship was cemented from that point on. What is the reason behind Kravitz's prolonged silence on this matter? Why did they allow the public to assume that their friendship was simple and organic from the beginning? In actuality, there are certain topics that are simply too potent to discuss lightly. Kravitz has always kept to himself, preferring to let his deeds speak for themselves. He believed that his relationship with Momoa didn't require an explanation, thus he never felt the need to do so. They were aware of the reality. Lisa was aware of the reality. The truth was known to their relatives. That was sufficient. However, a change has occurred. After years of keeping the narrative behind closed doors, Kravitz is now prepared to tell the public what actually. If you thought you knew Kravitz and Mima's chemistry, be ready to view things completely differently. The revelation of the truth is more explosive than anybody could have predicted the world has barely begun to explore this narrative. But now that Kravitz is prepared to go public, the whole image is beginning to take shape and everyone will be in awe of what he has to say next. The Lisa Bonet connection. Lisa Bonet was the questionable link between Lenny Kravitz and in Momoa. She was more than simply a common friend or a former romantic partner. She was the center of their special blended family. However, few recognized the nuanced emotions that accompanied their seemingly seamless dynamic, even as the world loved it. In Lisa's past, Kravitz had been the guy with whom she had a life, a marriage, and a daughter. In her present and future, Momoa was her spouse and the father of her youngest children. Most ex-partners find it ult to keep a friendly connection going, much less establish a friendship, but Kravitz and Momoa were different. At least that's what the public was told. The romance between Kravitz and Lisa has been the subject of Hollywood mythology. They were young, disobedient, and clearly in love. However, love was insufficient to keep them together. Despite being friendly, their breakup hurt even after they split up. Kravitz never stopped talking about how much he respected Lisa, and there was no doubt that she had made a lasting impression on his spirit. She is a part of my life that will never leave my heart, my soul, or my spirit, he said. I am what I am because of our experience. There was therefore an implicit change when Jason Momoa came into the picture. Tall and self-assured, prepared to love Lisa in a way Kravitz could no longer. Although Kravitz had moved on, he had unexpected feelings as he saw another guy assume the roles of husband and parent. Kravitz and Lisa co-parent their daughter Zoe for years with ease, maintaining a loving and encouraging relationship throughout. But with Mima's arrival, everything changed. He had a very other type of presence than merely Lisa's companion. Momoa was bold where Kravitz was restrained. Momoa embraced love with unadulterated enthusiasm, while Kravitz used subtlety to convey it all. Of a sudden, Kravitz was managing a new relationship with the guy who had taken on a significant role in his daughter's life rather than merely co-parenting with Lisa. To his credit, Momoa never made an effort to oust Kravitz. He really did the exact opposite. He made sure the public noticed their affection by embracing Kravitz as family and referring to him as brother. In interviews, Kravitz, however, had to confront the truth of his position in this changing family behind the scenes. Was he really Momoa's friend? Was it feasible to give the guy who had usurped his place a complete embrace? Ever the mediator, Lisa made it plain that their family was not intended to be separated between the past and the present. Instead of competitiveness, she desired unification. She thought that love was more than labels and that relationships didn't have to terminate because people changed. Kravitz lowered his guard. Gradually, he was present for Lisa's life with Momoa, not only for her and Zoe. On the surface, the tension gradually subsided as he shared inside jokes and joined their family get-togethers. However, Kravitz harbored deep-seated misgivings about Momoa that would persist until a pivotal event totally dispelled them. Shared passions and adventures. Lenny Kravitz and Jason Momoa seemed to share nothing more than Lisa Bonet. At first glance, in one he was a rock star, effortlessly cool with a quiet intensity, while in the other he was a tall, enormous figure who attracted attention as soon as he crossed a room. Numerous others were unaware, however, that these two guys had a profound affinity for the same things: music, motorcycles, adventure, and the idea of living life according to their own terms. Their relationship was based on mutual respect for one another's way of life, not only family The motorcycles were the first to come. Up, longtime vintage bike collector. Kravitz was well known for his love of the wide road and his ability to vanish for days on his custom-built choppers, seeking solace in the isolation of the ride and the scream of the engine. Momoa communicated that love in a bolder, more dangerous way because of his crazy energy. While Kravitz approached riding with a contemplative attitude, he was the type of man who thrived on excitement, testing the boundaries of speed and control. During a road trip that neither of them had planned, they experienced their first genuine bonding experience. Kravitz had been working on music close by as Momoa had been filming in the desert before Kravitz could give it much thought. A mutual buddy casually suggested that they travel together, and he soon found himself driving beside Momoa down an empty section of highway. Two guys who had previously been strangers were suddenly traveling side by side in unison on the open road, which was an unexpected challenge, and Kravitz saw something in Momoa that made sense to him. For the first time, he was more than simply a boisterous, wild person. He was someone who valued freedom and lived for the unplanned and uncontrollable times. Their mutual love of adventure became a defining characteristic of their relationship. After that day, they pushed one another beyond their comfort zones, traveled together, and visited far-flung, knowing more about them than the outside world could see. Additionally, there was something about Momoa that didn't quite match up, something hidden behind his frenzied energy and laughter. It wasn't a trust issue, rather it was an implicit sense that the tale was not quite complete. A late-night talk outside under the stars was the pivotal moment. After spending the entire day riding and testing their limits on perilous mountain routes, Kravitz finally posed the topic that had been bothering him for years. As they sat by the fire, as the flames threw flickering shadows across Mima's face, he asked, "What's your real story, man?" Momoa didn't reply with a joke or a smug smile for the first time. Rather, he paused, and in that hesitancy, Kravitz sensed it, the burden of an unsaid, too long buried thing. Mima's revelation that evening would alter Kravitz's understanding of everything. Later, however, when the pieces fitted together and the startling truth of their link was revealed, that moment of truth would arrive. Public perception versus reality. In the eyes of the public, Lenny Kravitz and Jason Momoa had created something unique, an unbreakable link between a Hollywood action hero and a rock musician, two men who were united by their love for the same woman, yet separated by it. Their chemistry was cherished by the internet, which celebrated each time they spent together. Whether Momoa referred to Kravitz's brother with total sincerity or Kravitz sent meaningful birthday wishes to Momoa, their connection appeared to be a tribute to maturity, respect, and unconditional love. However, things were never as easy as they seemed behind closed doors. The media presented their relationship as nearly too wonderful to be true. For years, the amicable coexistence of an ex-husband and current husband astounded fans. News outlets lauded them for reinventing brotherhood and manhood. What most people didn't know, though, was that tension, quiet conflicts, and unsaid feelings that neither guy was entirely prepared to face had shaped their relationship. Despite his seeming composure, Kravitz had his moments of uncertainty. Seeing another guy into what had once been his household was a complicated reality that he had to deal with. Despite his admiration for Momoa, he occasionally felt alienated from the life he had previously created with Lisa Bonet. The pressure was different for Momoa. He loved Kravitz, but he was also aware that unresolved feelings still lingered underneath their relationship. He was aware that Kravitz's past with Lisa, the love they shared, and the daughter they reared together could never be erased by social media posts or stories they had in common. He could not deny the weight of the unsaid sentiments that flowed between him and Kravitz, but he also had no desire to replace Kravitz. Additionally, there were rumors of rivalry and underlying competitiveness that neither guy would ever openly admit. There was no way two guys in their circumstances could be that close. According to several tabloids who claimed that Kravitz and Momoa were only acting out their relationship for the cameras, others conjectured that their relationship was more nuanced than either of them disclosed, that there was something hidden under the brotherly embraces and grins that was just waiting to come out. Moreover, the rumors weren't entirely baseless. Something remained unspoken after years of camaraderie and understanding. An unacknowledged truth lingered, and as time passed, the moment of revelation drew closer, even though neither man had addressed it publicly. For years, Kravitz had kept his thoughts to himself, honoring the limits of the new life Lisa had created. However, he had been suffering from something since the beginning that he had never discussed. The truth had been lurking in the background, awaiting the appropriate opportunity to come to light, and when it did arrive, it would not only surprise everyone, it would completely transform the world. Hints and cryptic messages. Lenny Kravitz and Jason Momoa have been hinting for years that there was more going on beneath their seemingly ideal friendship. Fans were too engrossed in the touching tale of two guys defying expectations and developing an unbreakable relationship to pay any attention at the time. However, in hindsight, the indications had always been present. It was evident in the way Kravitz would hesitate just a little bit before responding to specific inquiries concerning Momoa. Despite his typically laid-back demeanor, Momoa occasionally faltered while discussing their relationship. These were the indications of constraint of two men carefully selecting their words, of neither of them being quite ready to declare out rather than it Kravitz's revelation of a contemporary mixed family based on steadfast respect, love, and purposeful togetherness was perhaps more remarkable than the unexpected quarrel or dramatic breakdown that many expected. That deeper understanding of family had been taking shape for years, rooted in a private confession Momoa shared with Kravitz long ago when they were alone. That moment was what built their relationship in a rare moment of vulnerability. Momoa admitted, "Lenny, I think I'm supposed to hate you. But I don't." He didn't just see Kravitz as his wife's ex, he saw him as the man who had helped shape the woman he loved. In some way, Momoa had said, "You're teaching me how to love her right." Kravitz had not anticipated the acknowledgement, and it struck him he had acknowledged him as a mentor, brother, and someone whose love had influenced his own. That was the turning point, and they never went back. A common love for the same person was exhibited not through rivalry or competitiveness, but through friendship and family. The disclosure confirmed what many had long suspected. Lenny Kravitz and Jason Momoa's friendship is more than just a show. It's true, it cannot be broken, and their fraternity will continue no matter what life throws at them. What happens next? What does the future hold for this unusual but unbreakable family now that Lenny Kravitz's discovery is public knowledge? Jason Momoa and Kravitz's love and regard for one another have not only remained the same but appear to have even gotten stronger after their breakup. With Lisa Bonet, their relationship is more than just a show, it's evidence of a deeper tie based on mutual respect, trust, and ideals. When Lenny Kravitz said, "We're family," it was more than simply words. "We will be family." It was a pledge an affirmation that their bond would endure despite the changes in their lives. Momoa has also embraced this contemporary family dynamic, demonstrating that their family is still as close as ever even after the split. Fans may have expected separation or conflict, but instead they saw a remarkable act of love demonstrating that family is about the individuals who choose to support one another rather than simply titles. There is little doubt that Kravitz and Momoa have redefined what it means to have a mixed family as they move ahead. Their narrative is a potent illustration of how love, respect, and family can go beyond expectations, whether it is via their common interests, their dedication to Lisa Bonet and the children, or their sincere regard for one another. They have an unbreakable tie, and regardless of what the future brings, one thing is certain: this brotherhood will endure. Were you surprised by Lenny Kravitz's revelation about his relationship with Jason Momoa? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Catch you in the next one.